Hey, welcome back. We have a pen here. Very excited to finally get my hands on this one. I'm gonna do this one off screen because it's got my private info on it here, but someone was giving me crap the other day that my knife wasn't sharp enough during the unboxing. I'm like, first of all, this is a pen video. All right, we have this in from another Reddit member. I do most of my pen stuff on Reddit, a little bit on Facebook. And I have been trying to track one of these down for a little bit. It is the Magnus ClickShift V2 pen. Very excited to finally get this in hand. And what I immediately noticed versus the new attempt at this from Tactile Turn is that I really like the finish on this. It's got a very nice kind of like polished stonewash finish on it, and it just feels great in hand. Really nice pocket clip. I think that's the deepest carry pocket clip I've ever seen. Very nice there. Let's see what we think. Ooh. Oh wow, that is smooth. I don't know if this is all original or if, it obviously doesn't have any box here or anything like that, or if the springs have been changed. It looks like the refill, I don't know if that was the original refill he used. Looks like that's like an Odo. Let's take a look here. But, oh wow, that's right. The spring has not been changed. And why would you when someone has machined that spring from a piece of metal? This is unbelievable. That is crazy. What a beauty of a spring there. Let's make sure that stays pointing in the right direction. It is an Odo refill. I don't know how mandatory that is for it to be this particular refill. And I'm gonna try and avoid all those parts coming out because I am just not really in the mood for that kind of unboxing video. Beautiful machining on everything here. This is fantastic. Now this one I got used. This is a V2. I don't know if that's currently all the new ones are a V2, but I also did just catch one on the drop, but it still hasn't shipped. I think I bought it 2 or 3 weeks ago and it hasn't shipped. Oof, that is really smooth though. I like that. Very nice. So Magnus, made this original mechanism here, and then Tactile Turn came up with a new version of it for a more high volume manufacturing. But the first thing I notice is Tactile's, finish, which, love it or hate it, is very distinctive on those turn lines. And for me, I just prefer this finish. This just feels phenomenal. And I am so glad I got this, and hopefully another one coming, because this is very quickly in my top 10 list. This thing feels fantastic. Wow, that is a beauty of a pen. I'm kind of curious what the weight is on that. I'm sure I've seen it on the website to compare, but let's double check here. Again, this is from Magnus. I can't remember the rest of the company name, but I think it's like Magnus Industries or Magnus something like that. 0.845 ounces. Wow. Quite a bit. Nah, 1/10 of an ounce. I thought this one was more like a full ounce. Definitely a bit lighter. Boy, they're both really good though. I'd say the aesthetics though on the Magnus, this thing doesn't stick out as far, nearly as far. And that's one of my big gripes on the aesthetics on the Tactile version. Now it's not a huge difference, but it's definitely a difference, as you can see there. That is just a little less protruding, and yeah, this thing feels great. I'm very impressed. Very glad to have gotten my hands on this. This is a special pen. Man, that is smooth in there. If I recall correctly, he uses zirconium on part of his mechanism. You know what? I'm gonna open this thing up. This is worth the effort. I'm also curious what the length difference is. It looks like his mechanism on this starts quite a bit higher up the pen. See if I can put this here in a way where it's easier to see. And then I need to find like a good flat edge here to make sure these two are aligned. You can see there's like a good few millimeters from here to here. I don't know if you can see it actually. This just all starts higher up, so you have a definite loss in deep carry in the pocket clip. Now granted, 150 pen versus a 250 pen, or 275 I think they used to go for. I think they're on sale right now. But yeah, it's a really, I'm surprised how different it is. That's kind of caught me by surprise here, and how much more I like it, because I really like this pen, but I love this pen. This is one of my favorite pens I've ever handled. Very cool engraving in there. You can see the Magnus for the pocket clip. It's highly honed out in there. And yeah, this is a beauty of a pen. And I love this. I've been wanting more makers to do this, where the tip is integrated right there in the turn line, so you don't really notice that the tip is there. This is one of my gripes, one of my very few gripes on the Smooth Precision pens. It's not a big one. It certainly doesn't matter to me much, but that's pretty sweet. So I'm thrilled. This is a unexpected and very pleasant add to the collection here. And I have to say, I'm surprised just how much I like this. So let's maybe get in here and take it apart a little more. It's been done on other channels. Knife Nerdery is absolutely the man when it comes to this stuff. But wow, that is pretty cool there. This is super polished and smooth. Super duper smooth there. And that's pretty wild. It looks like it's actually a titanium piece on top of a zirconium piece, but that polished zirc is just wildly smooth. And that interaction there is a noticeable difference that makes for just a fantastic result. So I think this would go in first. Boom. And then this. We need to get that to pop out somehow. Am I thinking about this right? Oh, maybe it would go this way. Okay. Feels like we're getting there. And then this, which obviously holds the refill. The refill, pretty clever on this refill spring, because that would help keep the tip wiggle to a minimal. And if I did it all right, then maybe, just maybe, I didn't. There we go. I mean, the good news is it tells you that it's not right, like it just won't work, so. But I probably have, if I were to guess, this is probably backwards. It needs to be turned around or something. So I'd say it's maybe a little more difficult to reassemble than the tactile version. Oops. But I think the key is knowing which direction this needs to go. I think we might finally have it here. Boom. Boom. Does that make sense that it would be that side, or should it be the other side? I guess it makes sense. And I do believe we have a pen again. All right, so it's doable. All that in under 10 minutes. Gosh, this thing just feels great. Really impressed with the Magnus ClickShift pen. So, very neat. Thank you to the seller for making this possible. Glad to have it in the collection and hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.